morning, everybody. So my name is Shauna. I think I haven't seen some of you before. So welcome. We're going to get started in child's pose today. So just find your way onto your mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Knees go out wide as is comfortable. Be mindful that it's the morning, and we're wanting to be a little bit gentle as we warm up. And so maybe you're not, your knees might not be nearly as wide as what it would be later on in the practice, but just really start to connect into how your body feels and really let that kind of dictate this opening posture. I did throw up a playlist. If you would like some music this morning, you can go ahead and hit play on whatever music is calling to you, and then just settle in. Let your fingers start to expand out wide, maybe starting to crawl forward. Start to connect into the breath and just start to notice the quality of your breathing, noticing its natural texture and rhythm. Today's theme is going to be mindfulness. And mindfulness is really just being aware in the present moment in a non-judgmental way. And it's usually that second part of the definition that's much more difficult for people. A lot of times, we want to label the experiences that we're having, good, bad, neutral. We might engage in a negative self-talk, or we might start to compare. And just see if you can really tap into this idea of just acknowledgement. Everything is a learning experience if we allow it to be, and see if you can really open up your mind to just explore what's there. And as we move today, I encourage you to ask yourself, what is there for me to notice? What is there for me to tap into? What does my body need? And we're going to have a little bit of a different flow, a little bit of a different type of movement. So really let the body dictate your movements today. We're so used to living in our brain. We're so used to letting this top-down approach of our mind really dictating what the body does or doesn't do. And see if you can ask yourself every once in a while, is my movement coming because it feels good in my body? Or is this movement coming, because I feel like I'm supposed to, because it's been cued to do that? And see if you can really make this organic and really kind of tap in and acknowledge what the body needs and really honor that as we move throughout our flow today. Wherever you are, see if you can start to lengthen your breath. Start to smooth out the inhales. Start to extend the exhales. And as you do, see if you can start to bring your awareness into the full length of the breath. So following it all the way through the inhale as you notice the belly rise, the lungs expand, the chest lifts. And as you exhale, see if you can imagine falling it all the way out to the very tip, to the very end, and then start the process over again. Notice what breath feels best for you in this moment, and see if you can commit to maintaining that breath throughout the duration of our practice. If you wish to set your own intention, I invite you to do that now. The intention can be a thought, a feeling, a phrase, a sensation. Just notice what organically calls to you, and let this be the guide for your practice. Take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, sigh it out, letting everything go, bringing your awareness just to yourself and to your mat. Slowly start to walk your hands back towards your knees, tuck your chin into your chest, and then you're just going to kind of roll up, and then you're going to just bring your hips to one side and swing your legs around so you're coming to a seated position. We're going to get started in kind of a 90-90 angle. So you're going to bring your right heel back towards your right hip, and then your left knee is going to come somewhere towards your your left heel is going to come somewhere towards your right knee, and then just sit up nice and tall. Connect into your breath again. Notice how this feels. And then from here, we're just going to make some windshield wiper movements. So your hands are going to plant behind your hips for support. I just use my fingertips nice and light. And then you're going to lean back and you're just going to windshield wiper your knees back and forth. So start to connect into this twisting motion that's within the torso. Feel the knees moving back and forth. This can be as slow or as quick as feels good. Remembering that we're waking up and we're bringing a sense of gentleness to the body. As you move, again, connect into the body and let this really be your guide and just start to grow this movement. So maybe you start to add a little bit of a counter twist as you move back and forth. Maybe you throw in a nice side bend, kind of opening up through the rib cage, through the side body, using your hands as support. If you're feeling adventurous, maybe you take your hands off and you just really get into these hip flexors. But remembering this is the morning and we're just finding a little bit of gentleness. Find maybe 2 more rounds on this side. And then once you feel complete, come back to the center and just take a moment to connect back in with your breath. Allowing this to settle on the one side. And then all we're going to do is we're going to switch and go to the opposite direction. So start to bring your left heel back towards your left hip. Your right heel is going to be towards your right or your left knee. And then again, just connect in. Notice how it feels to sit in this position. Be mindful of whether this side feels a little bit different from the other side. And then just start your movements when you're ready. So bringing the fingertips behind you for support, and then just start to rock and roll back and forth, windshield wipering your knees. And then grow these movements whenever you're ready. Again, moving as fast or as slow, stopping wherever you need to. And then check in with yourself. Are the movements you are engaging in because they feel good in your body or because somebody has cued you to do it this way? See if you can become mindful of the sensations that are present as you start to bring in some movement to the body as we warm up for our practice. Find 2 more rounds here. And then come back to center and settle in, connecting back into that breath. Noticing if you've already lost it, without judgment, just invite it back in. Again, take an inventory, maybe a quick scan. Notice how this side of the body feels after inviting some movement compared to the other side. And then as you're ready, very mindfully, just make your way to your tabletop position. So in whichever way feels best for you, you're gonna find your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And then from here, just take a moment to settle in. And we're just gonna do a little bit of a scan. So think about maybe putting a slight bend in your elbows and then really pressing the mat away with your palms, rooting all 5 fingertips down into the mat. Pull your lower belly up and in. So again, we have that nice core engagement. Tops of the feet are flat on the mat and our neck is nice and long. So we want this to be an extension of our spine. And just take a moment to settle in here and take, maybe 1 or 2 deep breaths. Noticing what it feels like to be in this tabletop without going right into movement. And then as you're ready, we're going to find our cat and cow. So on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin and your chest, coming into cow. Exhale, start to round your back as you pull your navel in towards your spine. Chin chucks towards the chest for cat. Inhale, belly drops, gaze lifts, cow pose. Exhale, round the back, finding cat. One more inhale, drops the belly, gaze lifts. Exhale, round the back, really press the mat away with your hands. And then come back to that tabletop position. So lengthen out your spine, lengthen out your neck. And then on your inhale, start to extend your right leg behind you. And then take a look back, see if all 5 toes are pointed straight down towards the ground. And notice if you've just dumped a bunch of weight into your left side of your body, and see if you can even it out between the palms. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, draw your knee up towards your right elbow, and then step it to the outside of your right hand, coming into kind of this lizard low lunge. And then just adjust as you need to. So maybe you walk your knee in closer, maybe your knee is farther back. See if you can draw your shoulders forward. Bring awareness into that right hip and see if you can just pull it back a little bit, allowing the left hip to extend forward. And then just take a nice deep breath, settling in here. Again, notice how this feels. Make any adjustments as you need to. And then we're just going to explore a little movement. So take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, find half split. So start to bring your hips back towards your heels, toes flex up towards the sky. And then inhale brings you back into this low lunge. Bring your chest forward. Exhale, half splits, bring the hip back. And then just move through this flow a few times. Again, noticing how quickly or how slowly you're inviting this movement in. Asking yourself, what does your body need in this moment as we start to get into the hips and the hamstrings and the lower body. Once you're back in your half splits, take a moment just to pause, settle in. Maybe you start to draw your chest forward and then tuck your chin towards your chest, being very mindful of the hamstrings here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale brings you back into that low lunge. Plant your hands, then open up for an easy twist. Right hand goes up towards the sky. Think about pulling your thumb back as you open up through your chest. Continue to bring your collarbones forward as you expand the chest open. Get really light in that left hand here. We're going to take this right into a side plank. So your right leg is going to extend behind you as the foot plants on the ground. If you need more stability, you're just going to kickstand that bottom leg out towards the left and then really start to open up, finding some expansion through the whole right side of the body. Spread your fingers wide, some nice active hands. Bottom hand is underneath the shoulder. Think about rooting down through the pinky toe edge of your right foot. And then from here, extend your arm overhead. So think about really creating length from fingertip to toe tip, feeling this expansion through the right side. And then we're going to go right into our core work. So take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, hug your knee to your elbow, crunching in your oblique. Release back long. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, release. Exhale, crunch. 2 more. Inhale, release. Exhale, crunch. 1 more, you got this. Inhale, release. Exhale, crunch. Come back to that side plank for just a moment. Take a nice deep breath in, and then your exhale is going to bring you back to your tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and find 3 cats and cows on your own, just rinsing out that side. Inhaling, dropping the belly. Exhale, rounding the back. After your third round, going back to that neutral tabletop position, extend your left leg out long, all 5 toes pointing down. And then once again, bring some awareness and mindfulness into your hands. Notice the weight distribution here, and then make an adjustment before we move again. So think about really kind of evening out the weight. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, draw your left knee up towards your left elbow, and then step it to the outside of your left hand, finding this lizard low lunge once again. And then just notice how the two sides aren't the same. Maybe you notice some similarities, and then just make adjustments as you need. So pulling that left hip back, letting that right hip come forward, drawing your collarbones forward, keeping your neck nice and soft, sending the breath wherever it needs. Or maybe you just realize you don't know where your breath is. Can you invite it back into the body? Take a nice inhale here, and on your exhale, find half splits, sending your hips back, straightening through the leg, pausing here for just a moment. And then finding your flow as you're ready. Inhale comes forward to that low lunge. Exhale, drops the hips back, half splits. And then just move at your own speed, welcoming in any sensations that are present. Being very mindful of the shifting of weight, the shift in motion. And then once you're back in your half splits, just take a moment here to pause, allowing the breath to settle. Draw your collarbones forward and then round through the upper body, allowing yourself just to surrender into this posture, this pose for a moment. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, start to walk your hands forward, finding that low lunge. Right hand plants as you open up to that easy twist. Draw your elbow back, shine your collarbones forward. Really find expansion through the side body. Start to become light in that right hand as you open up, finding your side plank on this opposite side. Left foot finds the mat. Again, you can kickstand your leg. Just creates a little bit of a wider base, which creates more foundation. And then check in with your foundation. Is your hand nice and active? Is your back foot rooted down into the mat? How does this feel on this side of my body? Take a nice breath in and a nice breath out. And then extend your arm overhead. And notice what shifted. Just bring awareness into the change in sensation from your hand being overhead to extending towards the front of your space. And then we're going to find movements. So take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, draw your elbow to your knee. Inhale, expands. Exhale, we crunch. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crunch. 2 more. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crunch. 1 more. You got this. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crunch. Expand out to your side plank. 1 more. Take a nice deep breath in. And your exhale brings you back to your tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And then just find 1 round of cat and cow just to rinse that out. And then start to tuck your toes, lift your knees, and send your hips high, finding your down dog. So this is the first down dog of practice, so pedal it out. Invite any movement that feels good and organic. Spreading the fingers wide, letting the ears fall down between the biceps. Maybe you keep a slight bend in the knees as we continue to warm up the hamstrings, warm up the shoulders. On your next inhale, put a deep bend in your knees and send your gaze towards your hands. Exhale, just tippy toe. Take a nice little walk towards the top of your mat. Inhale, find a halfway lift when you get there. So draw your shoulder blades together. Pull your lower belly in. Exhale, fold forward, releasing the neck long. Inhale, sweeps the arms open, finding Tadasana all the way at the top. Moving right into our sun A's. Exhale, draw the knuckles between the chest, falling forward, finding your forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, finding your plank. Pause here for just a moment. Press the heels back, pull that lower belly up and in. Slide your shoulder blades down your back. On your inhale, drop your knees, and as you exhale, lower all the way down. Chest to the mat, untuck your toes, scooch them back. Exhale, any stale air, and on your inhale, find your cobra. Slight lift of the chin and the chest. Let your hands be nice and light. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, release back down. Inhale finds tabletop position. Exhale, we tuck our toes. Lift our hips, down dog. Take a nice deep breath in. And a nice deep breath out. Inhale, bend your knees and your gaze towards your hands. Exhale, slowly walk towards the top of the mat. Inhale finds a halfway lift when you arrive. Exhale, fold forward, release. Inhale, Tadasana, sweeping the arms overhead, really taking up space, lifting the lungs out of the hips. Exhale, dive forward, folding back down. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, finding your plank pose once again. If chaturanga is in your practice, you can start to lower halfway down. Inhale finds an up dog. Draw the chest forward, flipping to the tops of your feet. Exhale finds a down dog, finding a round of breath. We're going to flow this one breath to one movement. You can always do cobra or up dog, again, making this practice your own. If my cues are too fast or too slow, just stick with your breath. So on your inhale, bend your knees and your gaze towards your hands. And as you exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. You can step, walk, or hop. Inhale to a halfway lift when you arrive. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, sweeping those arms high, reaching up. Exhale, dive forward, releasing it right back down. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, moving through your high to low plank. Inhaling to up dog or cobra. Exhale brings you back to a down dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, bend your knees and your gaze towards your hands. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale finds a half lift, flat back. Exhale finds a fold forward. Inhale, sweeping those arms high, lifting up out of the hips. Exhale, diving forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, moving through your flow, finding your high to low plank, your back bend of choice, meeting back together in down dog. We've got one more round to go. On your inhale, bend your knees and your gaze towards your hands. Exhale, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, finds a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, letting it go. Inhale, sweep those arms high. Exhale, sweep the hands back down low. Inhale, finds a half lift. Exhale, fold, stepping back, finding your plank, moving through your vinyasa flow on this Saturday morning. Meeting back in down dog, where we take a nice deep collective breath together. Allow yourself to catch back up with your breath. Again, see if you can smooth out the inhales. Follow the exhales all the way out. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, lift that right heel high. Exhale, draw your knee to your chest and step it through, setting up for warrior two. Spin the back heel down, sweeping the arms up and open, settling into that front knee. First warrior two of the practice, getting into those hips once again. So maybe you come in and out of your hips a little bit. Just finding some gentleness, noticing what the body needs from you here. And then as you're ready, settle in. Arms are extending out away from the chest. Knee is tracking towards the pinky toe edge. On your inhale, sweep your hands overhead, palms come to touch. And as you exhale, just start to lean back, finding a slight side bend here. Connect into your breath, see if you're maintaining the bend in your front knee. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to find side angle. So right forearm to right thigh, left arm extends up and over. Bring awareness into your top shoulder. And see if you can pull it back a little bit. So we're really rotating through the chest, thinking about stacking lungs on top of each other. We have a little bit of resistance in our forearm and our leg. So we're not dumping all the weight here, but we're creating this beautiful tension. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to draw your elbow back towards your hip. So really opening up through the heart space. Notice how this feels different in the body. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, extend back out, finding this once again. From here, we're going to find a little bit of a different transition. So prepare to move, take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to find crescent with airplane arms. So start to pivot your back toes to face the front of your mat as you extend your arms behind you and you drop your chest towards the front of your thigh. Make any adjustments you need. So maybe you widen your base. Feel the strength in your standing leg. And then just find little pulses here. So 3, 2, 1. Pull that core in, keep it nice and engaged. Take a deep inhale, preparing for movement. And on your exhale, you're gonna shift into your front foot and then lift up into a one-legged Tadasana. So bringing your left knee with you, wall coming through to give me support. Flex your toes back towards your shins. Start to draw your thumbs back, so really opening through the chest. Take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, fold forward, releasing your hands and your left foot down to the mat. Inhale finds a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, moving through your vinyasa, meeting back and down dog. Once you arrive in your down dog, take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, lift your left heel high. Exhale, draw your knee to your chest, stepping through, finding your warrior two on the opposite side. Back heel spins down as we cartwheel the arms open, settling in to that hip. Before you move here, just notice how your body feels, and then make any movements that you need. So maybe you find a little bit more opening through the hips. As you're ready, settling into that warrior two, back arm is lifted nice and strong, gazes over that front middle finger. Inhale, sweeps the arms overhead, palms to touch, and as you exhale, just lean back. Small movement here. Just notice how this small movement changes the sensation. We're keeping the lower body the same. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, find extended side angle. So left arm to left thigh, right arm extends up and over towards the front of your space. And then check in with your body. Where can you find more openness? Where can you become a little bit light? Maybe in your feet or your forearm. Maybe you notice that you can root down through the pinky toe edge of your back foot. Let your body guide you here. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, draw your elbow back towards your hips, opening up just a little bit more. Bring awareness into the neck. Notice if it's still nice and long. Make any adjustments. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, extend back out to that extended side angle, noticing if you can keep the rotation and spaciousness in the chest. Inhale prepares us for movement. Exhale, we find that crescent. So spinning the back foot towards the front of the mat, sweeping your hands back, dropping the chest towards the front thigh. And then make any adjustments. Widen your base if you need to. Lift your arms up, let them be active. Pull your belly in, really keep engagement here. Press back through that back heel. And then find those small pulses. So really trust the strength of your standing leg. Pausing here, preparing for movement. Inhale, shift weight into that front foot. Exhale, lifts you up into that one-legged Tadasana. Again, see if you can really even out your hips here. So instead of pulling the leg all the way up, see if you can drop it down, squaring off the shoulders. Find a lift of your heart space up and out of your hips. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward, releasing your hands and your feet back down. Inhale finds a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands as you step back, moving through your vinyasa if you want it. Meeting back in a down dog. Find a nice calming breath as we continue to just build on slowly into this flow. Inhale, lift that right heel high. Exhale, draw knee to chest, stepping through, finding your warrior two and your time, settling in here. Finding one nice round of breath. Smooth inhale, long exhale. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead, palms to touch. Exhale, start to lean back, finding that side stretch here. Really opening through the right side of the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, side angle, front forearm, front thigh, back arm reaches up and over. Take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out. One more inhale, and on your exhale, pull that elbow back towards your hip, opening up once again. Nice breath in, nice breath out. On your next exhale, extend back out, finding that extended side angle. Preparing for movement here, take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, find that crescent with the airplane arms once again. Again, move slowly, so don't make this jerky. Just let your hip naturally square down towards the mat. Let your chest draw towards the top of your thigh. There's no quickness in this movement. Let the transition be its own pose. Inhale, start to shift weight into that front foot. Exhale, lifts you up and to that one-legged Tadasana once again. Root down through that standing foot. Lift up and out of the hips. You can stay right here, or maybe you start to extend that leg out in front of you. Again, notice if your hips are really unbalanced, and see if you can square them off a little bit. Maybe that means that your leg doesn't lift as high. That's okay. Inhale, lift your ribs up and out of your hips. Exhale, we're going to take this back into our reverse triangle. So foot plants, find that warrior two feet. Straighten through the front leg as you sweep your right hand up and over. You need to drink more coffee before these classes. I can't talk. So once again, think about sending breath from your fingertips all the way down into your toes, really creating space through that intercostals, your space between the lungs. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, we're going to transition to goddess. So start to come up neutral, spinning your heels in, toes are out wide, and then we're settling into our hips here. Hands can be at heart center, they can be out in cactus arms, whatever feels good for you, but just notice what your booty is doing and see if you can really tuck it under so we have our shoulders and our hips are stacked over each other. Maybe that means that you don't sit as deep, and that's okay. Continue to think about opening through the knees, tracking them towards your pinky toe edge, and then just send breath into the hips here. Notice how it feels to just be in stillness before we find some movement. And then from here, you're just going to start to shift your weight into your right foot. So think about what you have to do to just create weight into the right foot, let your left foot get light. You can stay right here, or maybe you start to lift your right heel off the mat. Notice how that changes any sensation. Once again, you can stay right here, really grounding into the strength of that leg. Or maybe you start to find a side bend, so right arm comes down towards the right hip, left arm extends up and over. Just notice the difference in the two sides of the body and what it's doing. And then check in with yourself. Is this what my body needs right now? Slowly start to drop your heel back down, coming back to center, balancing out the weight between the two legs. Noticing how the right leg feels, the right thigh feels compared to the left. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to shift weight into that left foot. Notice once again what it feels like just to shift your weight. See if you still are maintaining a good form. If you like, you can start to pop that left heel off the mat. Pausing here, notice how this feels. And then if you would like, you can always add that side bend, so left arm drops down as the right arm reaches up and over. Again, these are just options. Your body is guiding your practice. Notice how it feels. And make adjustments for anything that doesn't feel good. Start to drop your heel back down towards the mat, slowly coming back to center in your goddess, settling in here once again. Notice if your hips are open anymore and you can settle in here. Notice if they're burning the way mine are. Take a nice deep breath in, allowing yourself to sit in this uncomfortable sensation, knowing it's not going to end. Again, exhale it out. Inhale, find star pose, really opening it up, sliding the heels behind your toes, opening through the chest. And then mindfully, we're going to turn towards the front of the mat, bending into that front knee, hands frame the front foot, stepping back, finding your vinyasa flow. Dropping your knees or keeping them lifted, moving through up dog and cobra, meeting back and down dog. Inhale, lift that left heel high. Exhale, hug knee to chest, then step it through, bending your warrior two as you're ready, settling in as your body allows. Connect into the breath, finding one nice full deep breath. And then on your inhale, sweep your arms overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, leans back. Notice what there is to notice here. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, finds extended side angle, front forearm, front thigh. Back arm extends up and over. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, draw your elbow back towards your hips, opening up. Feel this full sensation again. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, extend that arm overhead to the front of your space. Inhale, prepares for movement. Exhale, we gently and mindfully transition into this crescent lunge. So dropping that right hip down, extending the arms behind you, dropping the chest towards the thigh. Find your engagement. Send weight into that front foot, and then as you're ready on your exhale, lift up, finding that one-legged Tadasana once again. Letting these transitions be its own movement. We're not rushing here. Option to stay right here. You start to extend your leg out front, drop that right hip down. I realize what bad form I have because I can only see myself. This is terrible, you guys. Lift the ribs up and out from the chest, and then as you're ready, we're going to start to sweep that leg back, planting it, finding your reverse triangle. Front leg straighten as the back leg goes long. Reach up with that front hand. So think about like opposing forces. So we're really reaching down with that back leg, back hand, and we're reaching over with that top hand. So just notice kind of this opposing force and how this stretch feels. Take a deep breath in. And then your exhale, we're going to open up to goddess. So sweeping the heels in and the toes out, settling down into this posture. And then check in with yourself. What's your foundation like? Are your knees opening towards your pinky toe edge? Is your booty in with nice stacked support? Do we need to lift out of this posture a little bit for it to feel good in our body? My hips don't like to open up, so I'm usually up pretty high. And allow yourself to just be aware and mindful of what your body is telling you. And then find whatever feels good for your hands, palms at heart center, out into cactus arms, whatever feels good here. And then again, we're just gonna play with that shifting of movement, that shifting of weight. So start to bring weight into your left foot this time. So notice that transition in and of itself. What does it feel like to bring weight into just the left foot? Now maybe you start to pop that foot off the mat, or pop that heel, not the foot. You might fall. Maybe I find that extended side stretch again. Maybe none of this feels good and I'm just hanging out in center and I'm not listening to Shauna. That's awesome. Take a moment to notice what it feels like here, and then slowly come back to center, noticing the intention of bringing our weight back to the center of our body. And then start to shift into that right leg, popping that right heel, finding that side bend. Noticing what's here for you. Taking a moment to sit in whatever sensation is presenting itself. And then coming back to center, intentionally and mindfully. Inhale opens up to that star pose, really expand out. And then your exhale, you're gonna start to bend into your front knee, pivoting the back toes, hands frame your front foot. We're stepping back and we're moving through our vinyasa flow if we want it, meeting back in a down dog. Take a nice cooling breath here. We have just one more round to go. We're just gonna add on an airplane standing balance and then a nice pasarita at the end. So a lot of the hard work is done. We're just gonna find a little bit more movement, a little bit more breath to movement. So as you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and get started from our down dog. So take a nice deep breath in, exhale, let it all go. Inhale, right heel lifts, exhale, draw knee to chest and then step it through. Inhale finds our warrior two, exhale, we settle in. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Exhale, we lean back. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale finds our extended side angle. We pause for the inhale. We open by drawing the elbow back on our exhale. We pause for the inhale. Exhale, extend that arm out towards the front of our space. Inhale, we prepare for movement. Exhale, we dip down, coming into that crescent with airplane arms, and we make any adjustments we need. Inhale, we find a shift of weight into our front foot. Exhale, we lift up, finding our one-legged Tadasana. From here, we start to extend that leg out in front. Take a nice deep breath in. And then on our exhale, we're gonna find airplane. So start to sweep your leg back as your arms go forward. And then sweeping your arms back as we did before. See if all 5 toes can be pointed down. See if you can drop that left hip down, maybe finding a bend in that right knee. Pausing here for a moment to feel what it's like to stay in this balance, welcoming any shakes of the body. And then as you're ready, release that foot down, opening up, finding that reverse triangle once again. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Inhale brings you back up to center. Exhale drops you down into that goddess pose once again. From here, you can either just sit right here, or maybe you find a little bit more movement. So again, just making this your own. Maybe you shift from right to left. Maybe you pop the heels up as you go. Maybe you add these side stretches on each side. Just making this movement your own. The nice thing about being in your own space is nobody can see what you're doing. As you're ready, coming back to center, lifting up out of your goddess, slide your heels behind your toes, hands come to your hips. Inhale, lift up, let your chest expand. Exhale, fall forward, finding Prasarita. Fingertips to the mat, releasing your head down long. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, walk your fingertips out in front, find a halfway lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward to frame your front foot. Step back, finding your last vinyasa. This will be the last one of our practice. We won't do one on the other side. We've got just one more side to go. So meeting back in down dog. Inhale, finds a lift of the left foot. Exhale, we draw it into the chest, stepping through, setting up for warrior two. Our exhale settles us into this posture. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, leaning back. Inhale here. Exhale, transition, extended side angle. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, opens us up as we draw that elbow back towards the hip. Inhale here. Exhale, extend that arm back out long. Inhale, prepares us for movement. Exhale, sweeps us back into that crescent with those airplane arms. Inhale, shifts weight into that front foot. Exhale, we lift off, coming into that one-legged Tadasana. Start to extend that leg out long. Pause here, prepare for your balance. And then as you're ready, start to sweep your leg back, sweep your arms back, finding this airplane on the opposite side. Again, see if you can square your hips by dropping your right hip down. Maybe you find a bend in that standing knee. Keep a lift in your chest. All 5 toes are pointing down. Take a moment to sit in this balance. And then as you're ready, planting your back foot and opening up, finding revolve triangle once again. Take a nice deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale brings you back to center. We're going to slide the heels in, the toes out, and we settle into our very last goddess of the practice. And then take a moment here before you find any movement. Notice how your hips feel now compared to the first goddess of our practice. Take a moment just to settle in this awareness and then find any movement that feels good, moving from side to side. Maybe we lift the heel and lower the heel. Maybe we find those side stretches. Maybe we just play with the shifting of weight, noticing how it feels in our body. And then as we're ready, we come back to center, settle in the middle, and then open up for your pasarita. So sliding the heels behind the toes, lifting the chest up and expanding, and then folding forward, coming into your pasarita on the other side. Really let your body be heavy, maybe keeping a slight bend in the knees. And then see if you can just start to slow down the breath here. We're going to pause on this side for just a little bit longer. Let your neck be heavy. And then notice how your breath feels. Notice the quality of the breath, the rate and the rhythm. And then see if you can start to smooth out the inhales. And see if you can start to lengthen out the exhales, signaling to our body that rest and relaxation is near, and then it can start to self-soothe the nervous system. Take another nice deep breath in, and a nice deep breath out. Inhale, start to walk your fingertips out in front, find a halfway lift to the chest. And then exhale, start to walk towards the front of your mat, spinning onto your toes. And then you're gonna come back to your plank pose, and then you're just gonna lower to your belly. So whatever way you wanna do this, making it its own transition, coming all the way to the belly, untuck your toes, scoot them back, and allow yourself just to arrive here in this position for a moment. Let your brain catch up with the experience that your body is having before we invite more movement in as we start to slow down our practice. From here, we're gonna find our Sphinx pose. So start to lift your chest up a little bit. Your elbows are gonna come underneath your shoulders like the number 11. Really spread your fingertips wide, so keeping a nice active base, and then draw your chest forward. Let your feet press down firmly into the mat, and then bring awareness into your belly. Just notice what it feels like without changing it. And then see if you can invite a little bit more core engagement. So maybe you start to hug the navel in towards the spine. Maybe you start to lift it up and notice if that creates some space between your lower belly and the mat. And then see if that allows you to really draw your collarbones forward as you slide your shoulders down your back. And let your gaze be soft down towards the ground. Bring awareness into the neck. Notice if there's any crunching, and see if you can soften here. Sphinx pose is a great soothing pose for the nervous system. It's also really helpful for our digestive system. Anytime we're under kind of stress, whether it's acute or chronic stress, our digestive system gets turned off. So this is a really great pose to do, before dinner at the end of a long day. Take another nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, start to lower your chest back down, sweeping your arms out, maybe to like a goalpost, and just letting whatever cheek come to the mat feels best for you. Taking a moment to just notice why you picked your right or your left cheek. And then notice if this is the one that actually feels better. Or do you want to switch it because you just picked the cheek out of habit? Again, being mindful of the experience our body is having and creating awareness within the mind. Bringing your chin back to center. If your hands are not there, bring your hands like goalposts or cactus arms. We're going to find a Superman variation as our back bend today. And so hopefully you guys can see me. But what we're going to do is we're going to lift the right arm and the right shoulder off the mat, creating a little bit of like an opening of the back bend. So normally we lift straight up. We're going to find each side. So right side first, and then we're going to come back to center, releasing the hand back down. And then we're going to open up with the left hand and the left shoulder, really using the strength of the low back. So once you kind of get this, go ahead and just join in. And we're just moving from side to side. And again, just like we've done throughout our entire practice today, you dictate the rate in which you make this movement. So do you make it fast? Do you make it slow? Do you pause at the top or do you pause at the bottom? And just notice whether that feels good. Be mindful of the experience that you're having. The more mindful we can be on our mat, the more mindful and present we can be off the mat. Find one more round on either side. And then release your head back down, finding the opposite cheek to the mat. Again, letting your mind catch up with the experience that your body just had. Take a moment to check in with your body, asking it what it needs, noticing any sensations that are present, any emotions that are present, allowing yourself to just pause for a moment in this space. If your left cheek is not down to the mat, go ahead and switch so your left cheek comes down to the mat. I'm gonna try and move my computer real fast. We're gonna find half frog. So we're gonna start to hug your right knee up towards your right elbow. So again, left cheek is down towards the mat. We've got our goalposts, our cactus arms. And we're just gonna start to bring our right knee up towards our right elbow as far as feels good. And then flex your toes, so keeping a nice active foot. And just allow yourself to just slow down as you settle into this nice restorative hip opener. Slowly start to slide your right leg out long, bringing the top of the foot down to the mat. And then switch cheeks, so bringing your right cheek down towards the mat. And before moving any farther, just give it a moment to settle in. And then as you're ready to find this half frog on the opposite side, you're just going to draw your left knee up towards your left elbow as far as feels good. We're flexing the foot, and then we're settling in. So we're finding this movement, and then we're finding the surrender into the shape. slowly start to slide your left foot back, bringing the tops of the foot to the mat. And then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. From here, we're gonna find puppy dog. So just one last nice chest opener. So you're gonna start to draw yourself up off the mat. And then you're gonna bring your hips so they're directly over your knees. And then you're gonna walk your hands out as your chest slowly starts to melt down towards the mat. So maybe your chin comes to the mat, maybe your chest finds the mat. Just think about continuing to keep your hips over your knees as you just settle in here, finding 3 nice deep breaths in this final hip opener, or excuse me, heart opener. Slowly and very mindfully, start to walk your hands back towards your knees. Again, making this transition nice and slow as we're winding down our practice. And then again, just as we started this morning, just swing your legs out to one side as you bring them out in front of you, and then roll down onto your back, setting up for our final resting posture, our Shavasana. Once you arrive on your back, finding any last movements that feels good that allows you to surrender and settle in. So maybe you hug your knees into your chest. Maybe you let your knees knock in as your feet are on the wide side of your mat. And then as you're ready, let your legs go out long. Let your arms splay out wide. Allow yourself to really take up some space here. And then just notice for yourself what it was like to be mindful throughout your practice. Notice if the judgmental voice tried to make its way in. And just know that this is nothing but a learning experience. And now, see if you can mindfully shift from the active thinking mind to the rest and relaxation mind. Knowing that if the mind wanders, it's just doing what the mind does. And just bring it back to the feeling of your body on the mat, the sensation of your breath, knowing that when it is time, I will guide you back out. Slowly start to welcome small movements back into the body. Inviting a wiggle of the fingers and the toes, a rocking of the ankles and the head. As you're ready, extending your arms overhead, finding this nice, beautiful, full body stretch. This morning stretch as we welcome our Saturday. And then as you're ready, rolling off to whichever side is calling to you, tucking your knees into your chest, using your bicep as a pillow. Allowing for space for your mind to catch up with the experience your body just had. And then as you're ready, slowly start to come to a cross-legged seated position. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze soft. Bring your palms to your heart center. Know that mindfulness is a practice that we can always keep in our back pocket to allow ourselves to be more fully present and aware in a non-judgmental fashion. Knowing that everything is simply a learning experience if we allow ourselves to see it through that perspective. I thank you for practicing with me. Be kind to yourself and others. Namaste.